able to spot a transplant from literally a mile away. FE, DHI, implanter pens, pre-made incisions, DHT method implanted in the frontal row of the hairline. Like a feeling of success after all these years trying all these useless treatments. How to choose the best clinic for you. Using natural products. I've been there, I've done it. If you want to go a natural route, just shave it all off, move on with life. What is your plan B? What you gonna do? If there's gonna be no growth, your donor gonna be destroyed, or both? What you gonna do?
So basically, he got this hair transplant to stop the receding and make his hair more full and...
No, hair transplant does not stop the further receding. Whether you get a transplant or not, your male pattern baldness will continue. Welcome back to this another amazing live stream where we're gonna be talking about hair loss and hair transplants. I'm gonna be purely focusing this broadcast, this live stream, just really on questions, because last time I received so many questions and apparently I didn't manage to answer all of them. So why don't we just go ahead and get it done this time the right way? Last time, I was focusing quite a bit on my transplant, and you probably can understand I was pretty excited on my third transplant. And in case you're wondering, my name is Rolandas. I had 3 hair transplants with Bruno Freire in Portugal. In total I had how much was it like roughly 7,500 grafts altogether in 3 transplants. So yeah, quite a bit. And I was north with 5A, so basically the whole top was bald. Currently I'm on just shy of 2.5 months after my 3rd transplant. Yeah, that's how I look, that's how it is. And my hair is pretty short still, but I've got 2 very bright direct lights, and so it looks much more worse than this. And in case you're wondering, that was focusing on this area, basically the crown. So yeah, no growth for there as it stands. First of all, let me know, how does everything sound? Does my microphone sound okay? The music background is not too loud and stuff like that. Got a slightly different setup. Not quite happy with the way the microphone sounds, but let me know, what do you think? Hey, what's up? Dances with comic books. That's quite an interesting name. Rohan Kishibe, let's go. Sildon Sylph, hello bro, do you have a dermatitis? Well, let's, I guess, jump right into the questions. Dermatitis? No, I do not. Thank God. My skin is pretty healthy. And funny enough, today I went to the grocery shop and I realized, shit, my Nizoral has run out. And, you know, I've been using Nizoral for many years, like on and off, like once a week, maybe once in 2 weeks, just to, you know, keep up with the scalp health, essentially, with the skin health. I never had a lot of dandruff that required, but in general, as you know, if you've been a hair loss sufferer for a long time, Nizoral can be used for male pattern baldness. It doesn't do really much on its own. It's not gonna do really anything, but it's a good way to just add an extra treatment, you know, because why not? Gonna use the shampoos anyways. So yeah, I do not have a dermatitis as it stands, as currently. No one. Do PRP or PRF injections work? Injections. Sorry. Infection, I was like, what the hell is this word? Well, yes and no. So, I mean, if the let's say we're living in a perfect world and the PRP has been done properly according to your body with your blood and it's not the first time, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it can work, and in some cases it can work really well. Check out the studies on PRP for hair loss. Even as a standalone treatment, it can work extremely well. That being said, it doesn't work all the time. It doesn't work for everyone. It does... Well, okay. And the third one probably is just, in my opinion, it's not worth the hassle. You know, having this scheduling appointments to go to the clinic, the cost that, you know, the moment of money gonna cost to make it happen, essentially. And going to the clinic, what, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year and even more to get it done. In my opinion, it's not enough efficacy that you're gonna get from it for the results you can get. There are no guarantees. You're gonna be wasting your money. Why don't you just start from finasteride, minoxidil, things that work and is actually cheap? So yeah, that's my opinion on PRP. If I would be a millionaire, I would probably find a doctor locally who is doing PRP, and I would try, you know, basically try to work with him to do some trial and error and see what works best for me in terms of how they, you know, using their centrifuge and stuff like that, their machines. And yeah, why not? I would just throw it, you know, on top of everything else. But you have to remember, every time you're adding any treatment to your hair loss stack, you are risking to induce shedding, essentially, for telogen effluvium, basically. So if you're gonna add on top of currently what you're doing, PRP, and it works, there's very high likelihood that you will have some shedding. So basically, hair gonna shed 3 months, 4, 5, 6 months, you know, it's gonna be a little improvement, basically. So you need to be patient and give it at least a year. But also on the flip side, if you've been using PRP for quite some time now, and if you decide to stop for whatever reason, you think it's not worth it, you don't want to spend this much money, you don't want to travel, and whatever it is, you can also have shedding. You can have also telogen effluvium. So you have to be very careful, in my opinion, when it comes to a PRP, because like I said, there's just so many moving parts that can be very inconvenient with life. That's why personally I'm not a big fan, really, of it. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, it does work, but just do a lot of research if you really want to get it done. Find a doctor who has been doing it for quite some time and has proven track record of results with PRP, because, as you know, some people say, not every PRP has been created equal. Yep, so that's that. Marcian, or whatever is your name. Your name isn't Rolandas, is it? Well, actually it is. My name is Rolandas, as everyone, I don't know, you've seen interviews with like Zarev, for example. He calls me Rolandas. Why would he call me something else? Or is it? Anyways, Rolandas, hello from Tbilisi. God damn it, I've got a friend who lives in Tbilisi. He recently moved into that place. Yeah, it's a nice place, from what I've seen. So, yeah, sorry, went on a tangent. How are you? Got a question. Do you know anything about why Brunfrere Clinic stopped posting new results? Probably like 2 years already, just wondering. Are they? I mean, did they stop posting results? I don't know. I have never heard anything about it. But also, I mean, they probably have posted already quite a bit of results. Why bother, I guess? I mean, it's just, from what I understand from my chats with Dr. Ferreira after my 3rd transplant, I mean, he's busy. He's so busy, he cannot keep up. He has like, he's booked with the surgeries for over a year or something like that. He keeps increasing the price. I think he still is, you know, booked, overbooked. So I think it's not a priority right now to focus on marketing. And plus, you know, so many people reaching out to him for consultations, online consultations for free and stuff like that, which I'm partially responsible probably. So apologies for this, but I think his assistants, they are rather spending the time talking to patients than you know, just focusing on advertisement. I don't know, it's just my guess. I have no idea. I have no clue how he's running his business. You are 30, bro. Yes, kind of. I am 32-ish, something like that. I have no idea. 32, or I think I'll be 33 this year. How many time after the 3rd transplants you are right now? So how long was after my 3rd transplant? As I mentioned, it's nearly 3 months, so 2.5, 3 months, something along those lines. I had the surgery, what was it, end of May. So there you go. And by the way, some of you guys joined and they are hoping, so I'm gonna be reviewing some of your pictures. I know I promised. You guys, some of you guys send me over some pictures on my email address for me to review during my next live stream. Unfortunately, apologies, I didn't have much time to blur out the faces. That being said, if you're one of those people who send me pictures and you want me to review them without blurring the picture, your face, I'm more than happy to get right, you know, through it. Because to blur all of them, it takes a bit of time. So I'll hopefully gonna be, you know, gonna be able to get it done for the next time. And just by the way, some background on what's going on. Working on very exciting video where I'm gonna be essentially, well, somewhat of a exposing basically the hair transplant, the whole industry, talking about what the hell. Okay, something happened, I don't know what, but we have been disconnected. Probably we're back online, so that's fine. Anyway, so I was saying, I mean, works on this very exciting video that I think is going to be huge, and I need help. I need people to get, you know, some just feedback basically on who had, you know, obviously who had a great experience. There's plenty of people online, but I'm looking for specifically people who had really bad experience with a hair transplant. It doesn't matter where they had a hair transplant, with who they had a hair transplant, but I'm looking for people like this to essentially interview, just to put as an example that, you know, not everything is beautiful when it comes to hair transplants, because when you're looking at advertisements and stuff like that, yeah, everything looks great, but you know the reality is, especially when you're going to bad cheap clinics, there's a very high likelihood that essentially you're gonna get destroyed. Your donor gonna be obliterated, your, you know, the hairline is not gonna be looking natural if it grows actually, and stuff like that. So it's very big dangers, and I want to kind of emphasize on that. So I'm looking for a couple of people for that. So drop me email on my email, which is mr.rolandas.ht@gmail.com. You can find my email address on description. Or in the, what was it, information or whatever about me on my channel. And yeah, happy to discuss. I can blur the face, you know, change the voice and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm looking for a few people like this. And also, yeah, some personal experiences essentially. So yeah, that's that. I'm also going to be reviewing some more transplants, so stay tuned for that. And let me go back to the chat. I use colloidal silver on my dermatitis. It works quite well. Well done. I'm happy that you found something that works for you. I use Nizoral. Well done. Nizoral is a no-brainer. You know, you should really use it. Why not? At least once a week. The only cosmetic surgery was rhinoplasty last year to get rid of hacked nose and septoplasty. Well done. I've seen quite a massive changes, dramatic changes when it comes to rhinoplasty. So some people have really, really ugly noses, and with this surgery, it just blows my mind sometimes. So yeah, if that's if that's your thing, if you're really upset of not happy with your looks in terms of nose, might be a good thing. But also, just the same like with the hair transplants, please do a research. Do a research and go to the reputable place, not just some place that's gonna basically chop up your nose and you're not gonna look great. A peach. It's a nice name. Hi Roland, which finasteride brand do you recommend and how do you get it? Is Rogaine a good brand? So, well, first of all, finasteride is a finasteride 5 alpha reductase inhibitor, DHT blocker, and Rogaine is a minoxidil, so it's slightly different drugs. But Rogaine as a brand, yes, I like it. I prefer. When I was using topical minoxidil, I was using Rogaine, depending on the market. Yeah, it works quite well. Finasteride, I'm using brand name Propecia, because that's the only reason is because this is original brand that came up with, to the market for hair loss. So all the studies been done on this particular drug essentially, or this formulation, because right now the patent has expired. There's plenty of generic finasteride brands that you can buy, but that being said, not every generic is the same, because they're allowing slight variation in the active pharmaceutical ingredient, which is called API. Basically where they can put more or less finasteride itself, they can put more or less filler and other additives, whatever it is they're putting in the pills. And there is some anecdotal evidence stating that some people have side effects on generic, and they don't have side effects on the brand name Propecia. And other way around, some people taking, for example, Proscar, which was actually the 5 milligram tablet, and it came off before Propecia. So that's actually the OG finasteride, and they just quartering or in five pieces. So yeah, that's basically, so the Proscar and Propecia would be my best go-to choices when it comes to finasteride. But also, again, I have nothing against generics. Plenty of great generics that people are using, they have no issues. My suggestion is, if you get on generic and you're doing well, you stay at least for 6 to 12 months, at least, ideally 1 year, and then reassess. If you see there is no side effects, you're doing well, seems like it works for your hair loss, just stay on that generic. Do not change under any circumstances. Because if you start jumping around with the brands, you can then do shedding. It might stop working, you can get side effects and stuff like that. Believe it or not, even the slight variation in the tablets can be a problem essentially. So yeah, just try to find generic that works for you and stick with it. Have to go back to the chat because you went a bit too far. Hi, I need an online source to buy oral minoxidil. Please share reputable sources. Okay, Cliff. First of all, can you reply in the chat, where are you based? So I might have an option. Because if you are in US, there are multiple places that are selling. I don't think they're selling specifically oral minoxidil. For example, I know this other YouTuber, what's his name now? Oh my gosh, I forgot all the names. Anyways, there's some people who are selling oral minoxidil together with finasteride, compounding in the pharmacies, and it works. So you might as well get that, but this most likely going to be in the US. I see you're in the UAE. Tough luck. Sorry, mate. I have no idea about that part of the world. Never researched what is out there. But there might be some websites where you can buy like online drugs. I cannot tell you any specific. There was one that somewhere around my tongue. But yeah, you just have to research. Well, first of all, why don't you just go to a pharmacy and ask them, guys, do you have oral minoxidil tablets, or do you have Lonitin brand tablets? And see, take it from there, because in a lot of countries they still do it. They have it because this is actually a blood pressure medication. So they would, they can prescribe for blood pressure, although there is nowadays but better alternatives, but it's possible. Or for example, when I was now in Portugal, I've asked Dr. Ferrer if he can prescribe me there, Lonitin, so I can buy it there, and just, you know, it's gonna be probably cheaper than here. And because I'm taking Lonitin brand, and he said they do not actually sell Lonitin in the whole country for whatever reason, or not that he is aware of. But they're selling plenty of generics in the pharmacies, so he has no issues just writing a script to his patients. They're going to the pharmacy, any pharmacy. They're giving the script. They're giving him generic oral minoxidil. That's it. And since the country heavily regulates, you know, the drugs, the generic market, and so you would expect a very high quality of the oral minoxidil. So it might be exactly the same in there as well. So yeah, just try your luck. But also, again, there's nothing wrong with using topical. As you say, there is only topical here. Topical works really well, and I'm actually a proponent of always start with topical and see how it goes. Stay for, you know, on it for at least a year, because topical is really good. You can throw microneedling on it, you know, on top of it, and yeah, it's just it works really well. I've been doing it for quite some time as well, and it works rather well. So that's that. Hopefully that answered your question. Jorgen Hansen. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. Jorgen. Hey bro, I got a transplant with Ferreira 10 days ago. Woo! Congrats. 2.35 hairs per graft. 2,700 grafts, 6,378 hairs in a Norwood 3. 26-year-old, only finasteride 1 mg a day. He prescribed me oral minoxidil and dutasteride. I want to only use finasteride. Oh, he prescribed you dutasteride. Nice. It gave me regrowth and stabilized my hair loss. I'm also wondering if is it okay to use a light makeup concealer on the recipient area to reduce redness. I really want to hide the redness as much as possible. Okay, I need to unpack a little bit. There's quite a few things. So first of all, congrats. Well done. Good surgeon. Good choice. 10 days ago, well, okay, I'll go to the concealer later. 2.35 hair per graft. It's pretty actually good number. I'm not gonna lie, this is above average. Slightly above average. And yeah, that's good. But 2,700 grafts in Norwood 3? It must be very nice when you're gonna grow out everything. So yeah, fingers crossed, everything gonna grow. And yeah, good luck with your recovery. 10 days, it's still early days. But that being said, finasteride, dutasteride. So yeah, if you're doing well, as I mentioned just now on finasteride, just use it. Just keep using it. Don't jump on dutasteride, and definitely do not jump on oral minoxidil unless Dr. Ferreira thinks you know it's a good idea for you to start. So in my opinion, when is a good time to take minoxidil? It's not necessary for everyone. So for example, if you got a lot of miniaturized native hair that you want to save, for example, if in your case, if you were Norwood 3, just roughly here, this area, and then you have lots of miniaturized hair just right in the forelock or in the mid-scalp or even the crown, in this case, absolutely yes. Minoxidil can definitely give a massive boost, even the topical one, not to mention oral. So yeah, in this case, it's very, you know, useful. But if you're one of those Norwood 3 that you just Norwood 3, that's it. Everything else is super thick and it's just bald in the corners essentially. I don't see the reason why would you need to use topical or oral minoxidil for this case. Just use finasteride to stop further progression of male pattern baldness. That's it. Call it a day. You got a transplant done. That's it. You've done basically the biggest part that you have to do. Dutasteride, my personal opinion, you should try and keep it in your back pocket in case you ever need it in the future. Because let's be realistic. You're 26, you said? 26-year-old. How long do you think it's going to be working for you, finasteride? I mean, it doesn't work forever. Although there is a study, like 10-year Japanese men study done, saying that essentially the lower your Norwood level is, the longer and better finasteride will work long term. Or at least over this 10 years that they've done the study on. So in your case, it should be fine. But again, in my opinion, it's better to keep it just in case, because you never know. We never know what's going to happen when you're going to be 40. And then you pop in the dutasteride, you're back to square one, which is what you were like when you were 26. So at least that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm not taking the dutasteride. Yeah. And the last part of your question was about the concealers. So 10 days, definitely do not use concealers. I mean, again, speak to Dr. Ferreira about it. My personal opinion, you should not use, because it takes quite a long time, you'd be surprised, for skin to heal properly after the surgery, especially if it's your first transplant and you had quite a lot of, grafts per centimeter square implanted. Like I had my first transplant. If that's your first transplant, I can only assume that's exactly what happened. The skin is gonna be quite raw for quite some time. It's gonna be, red. Again, some people gonna be more, for some people gonna be less, but you will be red. So just wait. Well, I don't know, at least a month, and then even then I would use, probably like a very light touch of like Topic, the hair fibers or something like that. But that's about it. I wouldn't really risk it, to be honest. Just wear a hat. That's it. That's what I've done. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Hi there, is Turkey still a good place to get a transplant? Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, some people gonna now bash me in the comments. Yeah, Turkey is a great place. Yes, Turkey has amazing transplants, amazing doctors. That being said, they're in a vast minority. Maybe like 1% out of all the doctors in Turkey gonna be good. So that means 99% of them are gonna be crap. So yeah, look, and I never talk about the country in general. There's no point talking, is it good like Portugal or US or UK or Turkey is a good, or India a good place for a transplant? Oh yes, every place is good for a transplant as long as you find a doctor who knows what they're doing, is good, he has a good eye, has plenty of experience. That's it. The doctors can be born anywhere in the world really, and they can be great. So it's all about this really. But yeah, Turkey has a very high likelihood of having if you're gonna go there, you're gonna have very high likelihood of having a bad transplant. So you have to do even more research than you would have need to do elsewhere, essentially, just because the amount of clinics is there is crazy. It's like, something like 450 or 500 probably even clinics, just in Istanbul alone. Imagine, that's freaking mad. So yeah. Who would you recommend for a hair transplant repair, as in taking follicles out of the hairline and moving them elsewhere? Actually, there's quite a lot of really good doctors, but most of them across the board, the top doctors gonna be able to do repair cases. So, but the more famous doctors would be probably Dr. Bisanga. He's probably doing more repair cases than not. Then Dr. Feriduni, amazing doctor. They're both in Belgium. Obviously, Dr. Ferreira is doing some. Then I don't know. It's just I'm a massive fan of Hattingen hair. Dr. Murisano his results are amazing, and he's also is doing quite a bit of repairs when they're taking some follicles from the hairline. So yeah, plenty of it. There is Dr. Munib Ahmad. There's so many. In England, there is like Dr. Ball, Dr. Reddy, all of the top dogs. They're gonna be doing repairs pretty much all the time. Just because people usually, they go to the cheap places, they screw up, and then they're going to the expensive places, the top doctors, because they research everything, and they're asking for help to, basically fix it. That's how they get their practice in repairs. So yeah, I would say across the board, really, just most of the top doctors. So just research, but just focus on research. Focus on looking at actual repair cases. So don't assume like if this doctor is the top notch, he's gonna be really good at at repairs as well. Some people gonna be doing in slightly different way. So just try to find the results of particular doctor they're looking at, and especially cases like yours, and that's gonna be your way to go. So hopefully that answers your question, Walter Winchester. Satya, in a few technique, extraction should be done by whom? Me. Imagine if someone would give me extraction tool, I can do extractions. Doesn't mean they're gonna be great. So yeah, anyone technically, but in my opinion, well, okay, let's start from this. It doesn't matter who is it, a doctor, is it a technician, is it a taxi driver from across the, from the street. As long the person who is competent, who's been doing it for quite some time, and he's been proven consistently showing really good extraction patterns and donor management. This is basically your answer. So anyone, this can be anyone. So that's why in a lot of countries, in a lot of doctors, even not just in Turkey, but like in Spain, US, UK, stuff like that, they're utilizing technicians to extract the grafts, and nothing wrong with that, as long as, like I said, the person's been doing it. He has expertise, he has experience with it. And yeah, as long as the donor management is there, that's it. But in my personal opinion, and this is just my personal opinion, I would personally like to go to someone who, basically, to increase my chances for success as much as possible, to minimize any potential downfall of the transplant. I would go to someone who is doing extractions and implantations, basically everything. So, because in this case, think about it. If the doctor is doing extractions and then he's gonna be doing implantations, during extraction time, he's gonna be able to pick the different types of hair, especially with FE. We might as well use it for its advantage by picking from different areas. So he's gonna be very picky. You know, what kind of doctor he's gonna be, or what kind of grafts he's gonna be, you know, using it, and then he's gonna be able to implant, because he knew, like, hold on, so I extracted these grafts that with the thought that I'm gonna be implanting here. So now that I'm implanting here, I know I've got this graft there, if it makes sense. Well, if there's two people doing, so one implantation, one extraction, so the extraction person would just do extraction, and then implantation person has to kind of rely on that guy to pick the enough of this correct hairs, the single grafts, final grafts, and stuff like that. And obviously the technicians correctly to put them, separate them. So it's not a big issue, but in my personal opinion, I would personally go only to the person who's doing everything. And that's what I've done. So that's that. Check Dr. Silosani hair transplant when you have time, please. Interesting. What would you say about his results? Okay, you know what? Let's do it. And guys, whoever asked already question, bear with me. I promise I'm not gonna be spending too much time on it, but I'm just curious. Dr. What was his name now? Silosani hair transplant. Never heard this name. Silosaniofficial.com. Okay, hair transplant is it. Right, let me give me 1 second. Oh, okay, it doesn't work for whatever reason. Oh, okay, there you go. Right, so that's their website, lagging a little bit. Gallery. Let's go straight to the good part. Okay, well, that's not promising. Oh yeah, not promising at all. So okay, when I'm looking at the gallery, I would expect to see results. I don't care how the clinic looks. I don't care about anything of that. Oh, there is one picture. Okay, well, from everything what I see currently, technicians are using microscopes to, you know, correctly, you know, dissect and check which grafts are which, basically, which is a huge plus. Next, what else do we see? It looks like he has some magnification. This guy doesn't, so we are going to assume this guy has 40 out of 20 vision. Good for him. And it looks like he's probably implanting. So maybe this guy is doing incisions and this guy is implanting. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see any results. Okay. Sorry, my bad. Apparently there is a gallery and there is a... Who cares? Like, when a patient is researching for a clinic, I wouldn't care what kind of facilities they have, as long as the results are there. I even were joking. I'm happy to do my transplant on the street as long as I can get the results. Obviously not, you know, it has to be sterile environment and stuff like that, but... you know, it shouldn't really be prioritizing. Okay, well, that's... Well, okay, that's my personal opinion. I would never do FUT for just 1,500 grafts. I know very well some people who are gonna disagree with me on this, and they would say the first transplant should always be FUT. But here we are. This is my opinion. Deal with it. Okay. Well, another even smaller FUT, long hair transplant. Okay, if they do long hair transplant, it already gives some, in my opinion, some expertise. It's very difficult to do a long hair transplant. Requires specific kind of tools. So, yeah, if they can make it work. Can I see? Okay, let me see something more substantial. Okay, that seems like, okay, let's look at this one. Okay, that's a really good amount of balding here. Can I zoom in? No, okay, it doesn't let me zoom in. Let's do it this way. And okay, so what do you think, chat? Guys in the chat, let me know. Does this look good to you? Before and after. I'll give you 5 seconds and then I'll tell you what I think. Again, here. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so it's not bad. I'll give them that they're not like a turkey, just implant thick triple grafts in the hairline, sticking up like a doll. Terrible. Absolutely hate this. It looks somewhat natural, but personally, I would like someone to have a bit more refined hairline if they're recreating a hairline, because here is like, I mean, to me, it still looks like a person has hair loss. If it makes sense, because it is not, the hairline is not defined at all. It's just a bit random. Yeah. Obviously, the angle, it's difficult to judge the angles, but it looks like it's finer hairs, single hairs at least randomly. So it's not a bad sign. Okay, yeah. So from this angle, you can see the, not enough, in my opinion, not enough structure, not enough density, not enough finesse. I would like someone that has a better eye on it. You know, I'm talking about doctor who has a better eye on, you know, creating something that nature has taken away. Bastard. Okay, let's look at some other results. That's not a fair comparison, but let's see anyways, because you cannot really see the hairline here. No, okay, no, that's a no for me, dog. Very simple. It's just not enough density and way too conservative. So he's still made a guy with Norvo 3 look like he's still a Norvo 3, in my opinion. Look, so instead of hairline finishing here, now hairline finish is here. It's still so-called McDonald's shape. Yeah. I would personally, obviously this person has a bigger hair loss, so he's potentially Norwood 5, going even to maybe Norwood 6 in the future, because you can clearly see there's a lot of miniaturization happening. So of course he has to be conservative, but I don't know. I mean, what do you think, guys? What do you think? Not really. Hold on, let me just open the chat. That just looks like he just grew his hair out. Yeah, it's exactly the points. Like it still looks like the person has hair loss. So, I mean, the doctor or whoever is doing the surgery kind of understood what kind of hair to put in the front, so it looks somewhat natural. So I give them the credit, obviously where the credit is due. But I just think they're way too conservative. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing necessarily. It can work for many people, but in my opinion, if you're going for a transplant, and obviously if donor and everything else allows, just might as well just do it properly. So, you know, it looks like you never had issues really. For example, here I can even clearly see through here there is much lower density in this area. And even though he's comping on the side, so there was this whole area, Norwood 5A, it was pretty much like me, a bit better actually. Thick, still very thick here. You can see the density, lower density all around this area. So they're implanting probably like, I don't know, 30 grafts, 35 grafts per centimeter square, which not always gonna be enough, you know. But yeah, other than that, I mean, look, they know how to grow hair, obviously. But you have to think about this. Every clinic gonna be putting on their website the best results possible. So if that's what you see on their website, and that's obviously their best results, they're gonna be some worse results. They're gonna be subpar results. So you can just, you know, think about it. Would you be happy? So basically, whenever you're looking at a result like that online, you think for yourself, would you be happy to have this as a best case scenario? There is no way you're gonna get any better. It can only get worse. So if the answer is no, just move on. Move on to another doctor, because, you know, that's what I would have done, essentially. Yeah, that's my opinion. Sorry to, you know, if someone got upset or anything, nothing personal, just, you know, just my opinion, really. Sorry, the chat just went bananas. Let me go back. By the way, welcome everyone, whoever is joining just now, to this live stream. We're talking about hair loss, hair transplants. I'm analyzing some cases. Ask me anything you want. I'm gonna be happy to answer any of your questions. And right, Sergey Smela, David Demuso sells it, I think. Thank you very much. Sergey, yes, I meant David Demuso. I don't know how I forgot his name. I didn't stay in touch with him for quite some time, but he's a friend of mine. We have a, you know, yeah, he's a cool guy. I like him. Hey Rolandas, hey Morty, how you doing? Hey Morty, if you're still in the chat, how's it going? How is your transplant? How is your hair loss? How is everything? It's been a while since, you know, I've talked to you, really. Between the various surgeries, did the graft count in your donor increase over time? Some doctors say that despite having removed grafts from a donor, after healing, some grafts regenerate. Did that happen to you? I call it bullshit. Yeah, grafts do not regrow. I mean, imagine. That's the tree growing from the ground. You take the tree with the roots, up, put somewhere else. And now there is a hole in here. And now you what? Expect another tree to grow from there? Come on. Look, obviously it's very simplified. Again, I personally haven't seen such things. Obviously I didn't experience it. There is some... I remember there was some company claiming that the way they're doing the FE hair transplant, when they're extracting the grafts, they are transecting on purpose the graft under the skin, so they're leaving a little bit of it behind, and therefore the graft is growing back in the donor. Basically infinite grafts. Which when for the first time I saw this on their website, I was like, I started laughing so much I almost spilled my coffee. It's just such a nonsense. Imagine if that would be true. I would, like, everyone, first of all, everyone would go to them, because they would be growing hair off like freaking, you know, everyone would have unlimited grafts. What's the point to go anywhere else? And also everyone else would be doing the same thing. So since nobody's doing it really, so tells you everything you want to know about this scam of a place. So yeah, Morty, no, unfortunately it didn't grow. Didn't increase. I wish that would be the case. Thank you for the answer. I feel like 2,700 grafts for Norwood 3 is a lot, but I trust the doctor. I was surprised by donors only so sensitive, very painful first few weeks. Yeah, the donor can be a bit sensitive, and it's absolutely normal, so you just have to be careful to just try not to touch it, really. And you're gonna be itchy for the next a month. You're gonna be try to scratch it and everything. But yeah, it's a lot of grafts, but I would expect a really good dense result, so yeah. Got a question, mate. Dimitris Petroganis. Did you use topical minoxidil on your first transplant? I know that you took oral minoxidil for your second one. I used topical minoxidil before my first transplant, actually. I used it for over a year. I used it to get a little bit microneedling. I've seen some great results. And actually, let me pull it up. But then I stopped. And to be honest, I kind of regret that I stopped it, because I definitely lost ground. Quite a bit. So therefore I had to do the second and the third one. It's difficult to say whether this hair would stay, but it was a hassle, and I decided just stupid decision not to not to continue with it. All right, let me pull. Let me just show you. Screen sharing. There you go. So this was me like roughly a year before my first transplant. So this is how I looked. Oh, sorry. Yeah, pretty bad. If you look at this. Oh my gosh. That's under the harsh light. It's so basically a very broad Norwood 5, almost a ditch to Norwood 6. But there is still a lot of hair. These hair were quite long, so I'm not sure if one of you guys know, probably. I've been combing it like that, so I was growing it very long from here, combing it this way, putting a lot of hairspray, and look, it kind of worked. Kind of. I don't know, now that I look at it, it looks stupid. But hey, we always do stupid things with hair loss. But yeah, so that was me. A lot of hairs. But they were very thin miniaturized. But with Minoxidil, I was able to grow them a bit longer, and they got slightly thicker. So I was able to get away with quite a bit actually with Minoxidil. So that was that. Then there is some more pictures. I think that's some of the. I think it's like 6 months or something like this on Minoxidil. And obviously I was already on finasteride, so it's again difficult to say. Let me see some more pictures. So yeah, it's quite a lot of hairs, and definitely also all of this, it thickened up quite a bit from Minoxidil, the topical Minoxidil with microneedling. I could even part it on the side. So yeah, it was not really bad. And let me see. I think that was like kind of the end result. That's how I was combing my hair, man. Can you imagine? From here all the way down there. It's such a massive, long piece of hair. Lots of it. I've kind of been able to get away with it. And yeah, this is the kind of final result. It looks pretty good, not gonna lie. It's again, the hair is kind of overlapping each other, so it looks better than it actually is, but it's. And this picture was taken with a flash, so every thin, very thin, even sometimes translucent hair gonna look much darker. So it's, in reality, it was looking worse than this. Let me see if I have any picture. Yeah, something like that. So you can kind of see through properly, but the hair, they were slightly thicker and they were able to grow longer, therefore making it look a little bit better. But then I stopped and I kind of lost a lot of it, so yeah, it was not the best decision, but also I'm kind of happy because that hair was just hanging in there for dear life. There was just a matter of time when this hair gonna fall. So, that was my experience with it. But again, from what I've seen, it worked really well. And then after my second transplant, I jumped on oral Minoxidil, and I feel like I didn't regain all the gains that I had before, but it was somewhat similar. Maybe a bit less, actually. Hey, let me just, I'm sorry, it's just so many questions, so many people in the chat. And yeah, by the way, welcome back, whoever is just joining us right now. Drop a question you got on hair loss, hair transplant. If you got anything that we can together look at it right now, during this live stream, happy to do it. So just let me know. Fire up. Is it possible to overharvest the donor area to an extent and then what is it? And then use body hair to fill in the overharvested area later? I'm on Norwood 6 and I don't think I have enough donor area. Well, technically, yes, but it's not. So it's not about over harvesting on purpose. I mean, look, if the doctor knows what he's doing, he can harvest carefully, and he gonna harvest like by basically having a proper extraction pattern. So overall, your donor area looks great. For example, I'll show you mine. I'm just for some. visual kind of what is this picture now? Oh, sorry. There you go. That's what I wanted to show. There you go. So that's me before my third transplant, and just to basically visualize for you. So that's the whole donor area basically outlined from here to here. And if you look closer, the extractions were done really, really well. They have very similar spacing in between each other, and all around all the extractions, there is quite a bit of hair still available all around. So therefore, which means that as soon as the hair grows just a tiny bit longer, it looks really good. Let me show you with the longer hair. For example, here, look, that's this on the same day, just before it's been shaven. So it looks like it's been untouched essentially. So if basically what I'm trying to say, even if your donor is weaker, if the doctor is carefully extracting all around like that, he can basically decrease the visual density all around the donor. So it's not really gonna look over-harvested, because the traditional term of over-harvesting is basically if someone takes like one strip of hair from here, and like on the top it looks very thick, on the bottom looks very thick, and here it looks like moth-eaten, so-called. It's like really, really big difference in density. So that's over-harvesting. There's too many hairs taken from the same area. But when it's homogeneously taken all around, it can look really good. You can even decrease your donor capacity by like 60%. You can remove 60, even 70% of your hair, and it still might look pretty decent overall. Obviously, it's gonna be much thinner. You're gonna have less hair, and it might not look as great, basically. But if you're at the stage where you need to make a trade-off between donor and recipient, for example, and I understand where you're coming from. It's not a bad idea to harvest more as long as it's done carefully with FE, and then you can indeed put some BHT all around to thicken it up. But also, what you can do SMP. If you do SMP all around here, you're gonna even create more kind of visual 3D kind of density. That overall, it's not gonna look really bad. So again, that's just my opinion, but you know, it is possible as long as it's done carefully, essentially. So yeah, what the guy, that sounds like a bad idea. SMP can cover all of scarring though. Yeah. Let me just go back to down to the chat. Fire up, thanks Rolandas. No worries, mate. Hope he was helpful. Crown Zack, god damn it, look at this guy. This guy was one of my first subscribers. When I had probably 100 subscribers, he was already commenting under my videos. Welcome back to the channel, it's been a while. I'm nearly, by the way, I just reached 18,000 subscribers yesterday. So thanks to all of you for this milestone. And thank you, Raphael. Okay, so he's talking to someone else. Let me see, what was his question? Hello, my friends. Turned a little bit late. Would love to hear your opinion on Dr. Feriduni. Well, Dr. Feriduni, great doctor. I personally love him. Is yeah, very good with the how do they call it? With the first transplants, essentially, with the virgin scalp. There you go. That's how they call it, virgin scalp, or with the repair cases. He does a lot of repair cases. But yeah, he's a really top-notch doctor. That being said, every doctor gonna have their own panache. They're gonna have their own vision, or how basically artistry, how they're gonna create the hair transplant. So how they're gonna be extracting, how they're gonna be implanting. Sorry. And so yeah, how they're gonna reconstruct hairline, how much density they gonna be creating and stuff like that. So all of these little things, they do count in an end result. Even though the end result from far away, for everyday person gonna look like, oh look, this guy has hair, that's about it. But if you kind of nerdy like myself, I see every little detail. I sometimes even fucking upset at myself that I see way too much, because I'm overanalyzing everything. And yeah, So just look at that. Look at his results. Look at how he's doing his surgery, and decide for yourself if you like it or not. So not it's every person gonna be different, but overall he's a really good doctor. He's doing it the right way. He has great results, caring about the patients. So that's all what you want really from a doctor. And so yeah, that's that. Christian Drakici. Hi. Hey mate, how you doing? The hair chemist, how you doing? Just tuning in, might have been answered already, but what's the lowest cut you can do in the donor now? Thanks. Haven't answered this time. By the way, how you doing, Killian? It's been a while. So actually, well, currently I don't know. I had already 2 haircuts after my 3rd transplant, and both times I just went to guard number 2 all around, and I think it looked good. You cannot really see any. I mean, if you would look closely, you can kind of see a little bit of a difference in the density between the very bottom here and where the recipient area kind of, or the donor area kind of starts. But it's such a small difference. You would never. I mean, I can see it if I'm going to guard number 2, but that's about it. Let me see if I have any. Actually, you know what? I had a haircut like 2 weeks ago. What do you think? Let me see. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to see here. It's not the best angle and everything. I should have really made some pictures. You know what? You caught me on the spot. I'm the one who's supposed to have these pictures. But yeah, number 2, and I've done it twice already, and I'm happy with it. Looks great. Nobody can tell a thing, and in my books, that's a massive thing. But if I would go lower, so I've tried before my 3rd transplant, I went to guard number 1. You can obviously see, just because I had so many, grafts extracted. It was like 6,500 grafts. Like, come on, you're bound to be, some visible drop in density between some certain areas. So yeah, that's that. Crowns acting much rounds. I really value your opinion. I'm glad. Well, it speaks volumes. You've been here for quite some time now, and you're still tuning in and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully, I'm giving you answers that you're seeking. Still a solid donor area, mate. Yep. It's still surprisingly. Look, after already having like 7,700 grafts. That's how roughly I had extracted, and I still can. Well, according to Dr. Ferrer, I still can go for another 3,500, which in my opinion, it's bananas. I don't think it's a good idea to go for this many. And by the way, I don't even need this many anymore. But yeah. Do you use fibers or not? No, I do not use any topical or any concealers at all. Yeah, I do not use any concealers because why? I mean, I have currently a bit of a weak spots. That's where the third transplant kind of focused on these areas. And obviously, again, now it looks worse because of very harsh 2 lights, pointing directly onto me, on my head. So it looks worse than this. But yeah, I really don't care. So believe it or not, I don't give a crap. I just can go around like this. And look, I was going after my transplant just all around. Couldn't care less what people think. It's so funny how, like I mentioned during the last live stream, when we don't have hair, we value it so much, we trying to cover it and all of these things, but then when we don't have hair, when we have it back, like in my case, couldn't care less. Funny how life works, isn't it? I think you are blessed with very over average donor zone area. Yes. Yeah, I'm indeed been blessed with such a amazing thick donor area. So yeah, that kind of helped me to. But again, that being said, if I would make the wrong choice the first time, if I would go to some not so great clinic that would destroy my donor or not manage it well, I wouldn't be in this situation. And believe it or not, a lot of people actually have very good donors as well. I'm not such an exception. There's a lot of people like me, loads of them, but the problem is the people going to bad clinics that they don't give a crap about your donor. They just extracting like that everything, and you know, they just transecting a lot of hairs, and then a big part of your donor just dying, essentially, and after just one surgery. And that's why people are always surprised when I'm like, they find out that I had like before 6,500 grafts or now 7,700 grafts. They all think my donor should be completely destroyed already, but no, it looks great. It looks still freaking amazing. It's just because it's been taken care of properly. So, you know, if you would do the right way from the first time, a lot of people can be just like me. I'm not really, you know, that exceptional. Max Graft Turkey, yeah, exactly this. Do you consider fourth hair transplant in the future? Look, Rohan, I'm not gonna be lying to you. Everything is on the table, but I'm not considering. So I didn't consider my third transplant. I just decided literally out of nothing. So Dr. Ferreira emailed me last year asking me, hey, Rolands, how are you doing? How it's been? Are you thinking about the third transplant? As he would, because he's, you know, it's his business. But yeah, and I replied to him like, look, I can be completely honest, I was not planning until now, didn't even had a thought of doing a third transplant. Just because, you know, life happens, I have other things going on in my life and obviously different priorities. I do not want to spend any money on any further hair transplants because it's not as important for me currently as some other parts of my life. But I said like, look, but I'm open to anything. If you're gonna give it for, you know, if you're gonna get it done for free, why not? Fuck it, let's do it. And he said yes. That's why I have a third transplant. I wouldn't have a third transplant if he would say no, essentially. So yeah, when it comes to fourth one, you bet your ass off I'm not paying for it. There's no point. Why? I don't need... I'm happy with the way it is right now. I'm sure once this is gonna grow, it's gonna be great. That being said, if something interesting comes along, well, actually, I don't know. If someone gonna give me another transplant for free, would I do it? I guess that's the question. I don't know. Do I need it? I don't see where they're gonna be putting unless something not gonna grow right now. I don't think there is a point really. So yeah, that's where my mindset currently is when it comes to transplants. And by the way, in case you're wondering, yes, there were a million of clinics, especially from Turkey, who were offering me free transplants. Like they're offering left and right, as you can see online, to all of the influencers, you know, bodybuilders, CBAM, and all of these people going to Turkey to the shit clinics getting the transplants done. Yeah, I've got the same offers. I didn't go them. I didn't, you know, I had so many emails sending to me, oh, let's work together. You know, I would like, you know, if you would advertise us, we're gonna, you know, pay you or stuff like that. Some shit clinics. Obviously, I said no because I have a, you know, I think I have a responsibility, and this is not me. I'm really against. I hate this industry in a way that it's just 99% of them is shit. I hate that everyone's taking advantage of people. It just boils my blood when I see these clinics playing around with the marketing and just seeing people constantly lining up and just getting destroyed. It just boils my blood. But you know, you cannot really help everyone, so I'm just helping to these people who want to be helped or who are willing to listen. That's all I do. I'm not pursuing anyone, and that's why I'm here. Metal is great, recommended by Joe Tillman. Yeah, Money Metal is amazing, doctor. So that's that. Would you suggest to a Norwood 3 with a family history of Norwood 7 to start with FUT and then, if necessary, refine with FUE? Well, it goes with, I mean, as a standard baseline, it's a really good and safe approach. Do FUT, then do FUE. It's like, look, the only reason why I didn't, actually, not many of you might know, only probably long-term subscribers can know about it, but initially I was actually planning to do a FUT transplant. Just because virgin scalp, I have very extensive hair loss. My father is Norwood 6, they're close to Norwood 7, going into my other parts of the family are Norwood's 5, 6, maybe even 7. So everyone's had very extensive hair loss, and I was Norwood 5A. Thank God finasteride stopped further progression of hair loss. But you know, I'm still young, so I was considering FET. The only reason I didn't go for FET is because I couldn't find any good doctor that I could trust, and it was within my price bracket, essentially, because, you know, I'm not rich. I just like you and I, you know, just any of you guys here. We all the same. I had to spend some time, a couple of years, to consistently save up the money to get my first transplant. So, you know, it was not... Yeah, it was not easy to find any doctor who, for a good price, could do it. And all the doctors who were doing FET, they were super expensive that I couldn't afford. And yeah, that's essentially the only reason. If Dr. Ferrer would be doing FET, I can guarantee I would have done FET. And it doesn't mean I would be an advocate for FET, like some other people. I know Killian had plenty of FETs, and he would always say FET is the way to go. Great. I have... You know, obviously, my opinion and my experience is different, but I personally don't see... I mean, to me, it's just different type of procedure. At the end of the day, your donor gonna look slightly different. You're gonna have, you know, slightly, maybe... How to say? Gonna have a somewhat of a facelift because of FET, especially if you can do multiple of them, because they're cutting a piece of your skin and they suturing it back, so... everything is going to be very slightly tighter. After one, probably nothing, but, you know, it's just a linear scar, and changing the whole, basically, scalp in some areas, the hair might start growing in a different way, but it picks this thicker graft. So that's what I wanted to go for, but again, didn't happen. And, you know, I'm happy that the way I've turned out currently with FEs, because my donor looks great. I can go with the very low, you know, with number 2 guard, which is very short. Yeah, everything turned out really great. So I don't... Yeah, I'm happy with both surgeries, essentially. But Rafael says FET is a gold standard. What is the gold standard? It was a gold standard maybe like 10 years ago, 20 years ago for sure. But nowadays, who is doing FET? Even the FET surgeons started doing FET. Now it's extremely difficult to find a surgeon who's going to be doing FET. So is it still a gold standard? Well, depends how you look at it. Depends of your definition of a gold standard. Well, Crown Zaki also right. I have a small head, so I wouldn't be able to actually extract a lot of grafts with FET. So, you know. But anyways, yeah, both great. I wonder how many grafts Dr. Zarev will find in your donor. Probably a record 20,000 grafts. Reach for first time in FE history. I'm telling you once again, I'm not an exception. I'm just my donor is great, but it's not wow. There's so many more people with much better donors. But yeah, I mean, whether it's Dr. Zarev or Dr. Ferrero or any other top doctors, they cannot find more grafts. The grafts are there. It's easy. You just it's a math. You just make a, you know, pictures or with how is it called now? Fuck, I keep forgetting all of those things. With a machine that they making a picture of a centimeter square, and they calculating, basically counting how many grafts per centimeter square is there. They making this kind of pictures all over different areas, and they estimating the number of grafts available. So in my case, if I remember correctly, he said that I have 26,000 grafts available in the donor, but that means that's the total donor supply. Obviously, you have, for a hair transplant, you can, or you should really not exceed like 50%, because as soon as you remove 50%, then it will be visibly thin. Yes, 26,000, and this is not massive number. This is normal numbers. Everyone has a lot of grafts in the donor, but like I said, you cannot obviously remove all of them. Otherwise, your donor gonna be bald. So roughly a good estimation is between 35 and 40% removable, to remove the grafts, and that's still done. If it's done properly, the donor is still gonna look untouched, essentially. But if you're gonna remove more than that, that's when the density is dropping and it starts looking really bad. So yeah, So that's what Dr. Ferreira says. He can extract 13,000 grafts in my case, because it will be 50% of 26,000. But again, personally, I think it's just gonna be an overkill. And yeah, a lot of people have it. 20,000 grafts as a baseline. It's very normal, very normal. So 50% of it is 10,000. Think about it. A lot of people can get it done. Can people prone to keloid get the FE transplant? Yes, but it's a bit complicated. So with a keloid scar, you should first of all speak to the doctor who has experience with it. From what I know, any good doctor, he would first of all ask if you're on any treatment to stabilize the condition, essentially. Because if the condition is not stabilized, nobody gonna be doing, or at least the good doctor is not gonna be doing a transplant for you. You know, there's less chances you're gonna grow, then the donor, like everything is just, it's gonna be scarring really badly. It's just, a lot of doctors would say no right away. But if it's under control, there's no issues with that, you know, you're taking whatever medication or whatever you need for it, some doctors would say yes, probably. It really depends on the cases. From what I've seen, a lot of, some people had transplants done with having keloids, basically, keloid scarring, and it was fine. So it's not for everyone, but it's possible, essentially. You definitely don't need the fourth one. Asking that, I just mean how to say it. Will it be possible for you to have another one? Yes, like I mentioned earlier, I had 7.5 or 7,700 grafts. Dr. Ferreira thinks he can go all the way up to 13,000 grafts. More like, he said more like 11,000. He can extract and my donor still gonna look great. So yeah, technically it is possible. I suggest to check one of my previous videos when I did the interview with Dr. Ferreira, and he answered some of these questions. Actually, he went into quite detail. So yeah, that's a very, very, very nice video. When did you start seeing visual improvements after second transplant? I'm 3 months after right now. So 3 months is nothing, but I would say roughly from 4 months onwards, you could start seeing some growth already. So general rule of thumb, don't expect anything until 4 months. If there is something visually happening, it's a plus. But until then, nothing. And actually a lot of people won't see any results until 5 months. So yeah, 3 months is a bit early, but if you think about it, you're kind of already, and you know, the worst part is behind you. So you're nearly there. Yeah. What do you think of FE Eugenics? Dr. Munir Ahmad already mentioned. Amazing, incredible hairlines. Like the naturalness is so top notch. Just wow. Like one of my top 5 doctors currently. Zarev extracts 60%, so that would be 15,600 grafts in your case. Yep, yeah, that's correct. But again, you have to remember, Dr. Zarev extracts not for everyone 60%. It all depends on each, individual case. So it really depends. But of course, I'm sure Dr. Zarev would be able to, well, would he be able to? Now that I think about it, probably not. Just because, as I mentioned in my previous live stream, so my grafts, the normal graft, the ideal graft, let's say 3 hair graft, if that's the skin, it would grow from like one hole, 3 hairs would grow. It would look like this, essentially. From one little tiny thing grows a bunch of hairs. In my case, the hairs normally are not growing like that. In bunches, they're growing in sort of a line. So basically, that's the skin, the hair, there is a 4 hair graft, and it grows like that. So instead of bunch like this, it grows in line, in straight line, like this. So in order to extract it, you need to have a bigger punch to take all 4 grafts at the same time, if it makes sense. So they are very spread out, and loads, like vast majority of my donor is like that. I've showed what I was showing. I think during the video with Dr. Ferreira interview, I've showed some of those footage. But also there was a little bit of the footage in my 3rd transplant video, so go and check this out. Okay, we are back. I have no idea what the hell is happening. but for whatever reason, it's just going on and off. Okay, well, seems like, are we online? Someone can drop something in the chat. Yeah, it's back. Okay, great. But no idea. Sorry about that. It's just obvious it's playing around. So yeah, just check out this video, and what I'm trying to say with this, like that Dr. Zarev is using very small punch, usually 0.6 millimeter punch, to make, you know, carefully extract so many grafts basically in the same surgery, because it's less damage to the tissue. And in my case, I don't think he will be able to use this 0.6 millimeter punch, because you're gonna transect a lot of grafts. That's what Dr. Ferreira even said, that he had to use 0.8, sometimes 0.85 millimeter punch, just because you cannot, you know, make it any smaller. Audio is not so great right now, Rolandas. I think, can I hear you? Ooh, hold on. Well, the microphone is working, so maybe it's just the quality. Let me see. Says the stream is healthy. I'm pretty sure can hear you 1 second and then the next. I feel like it's supposed to get better. Oh, it is okay here. Okay, fine. Yeah, it's just something, I don't know, maybe something with the network. Like, my internet is very good. It's like 1 gigabyte download and upload. But for whatever reason, it's just disconnecting me. Like, something like I become offline or something. I don't know. Anyways, apologies for this. I'll see what I can do for next time, so it's not gonna happen again. And what are your top 5 doctors? Let's keep it a secret. Do you still take finasteride? Yes, I do. I still take finasteride 1 milligram a day. I also take oral minoxidil 2.5 milligrams a day. By the way, you mentioned, guys, about the sound. What do you think of this sound of this microphone? Because I'm considering whether keeping this microphone or buying a different one, because this one is not really, you know, dedicated for kind of podcasts. It's picking up a lot of sounds from around and noise, and I don't like the way my voice sounds here. It feels a bit weird, like I'm in some can or something, you know. But yeah, just let me know. Crystal clear. Well, that's good. But in general, does it sound good enough quality for a live stream? Yeah, just really a question for you guys. With 0 sides, yes. Believe it or not, I had no side effect. Actually, so one of my next videos I'm gonna be doing is on update on my oral minoxidil. I've been on it, like, I believe for 3 years now, something like that. So I've done actually some good tests. I went through the doctors. I've done intensive tests, basically, end of last year. And I'm just trying to get those results back to me so I can share with you guys on the video. So hopefully I'm gonna get it done this week. Shoot a footage, get this video ready. Hopefully by the end of the week. If not, then at some point next week. Because I think it's very important when it comes to oral minoxidil. Yeah, a lot of people have scaremongering. Some of the YouTubers are absolutely hating oral minoxidil. But yeah, obviously I'm just, you know, sample size 1, but still, I think it's a good thing to share some more information when it comes to side effects. Yes, definitely good enough. The quality is very good. Can hear everything. Video quality very clear too. Okay, that's great. Yeah, it was interesting to set up a little bit. At least let's give us some hints. Well, look, Crown Zach, you know, all the good guys. You got Dr. Ferreira, Dr. Feriduni, Dr. Bisanga, Dr. Well, there's Eugenics, Dr. Ball, obviously Hattingen. This will be one of the top for sure. Loads of them. I mean, you're gonna probably notice all of them are around Europe, just because that's where I've done the most research. But yeah, these are gonna be literally top of the top, then there's some cheaper options that are pretty good in my opinion, like Ximenavela. There's some names I keep forgetting. They're not very well known, but they're really good doctors. Yeah, just look from the top of my head, just to name a few. Dr. Pekiner, although I haven't seen Dr. Pekiner's work for quite some time, but you know, I cannot assume he started making worse work. If anything, he probably gonna improve. So Dr. Pekiner has been amazing. I was considering, he was my number 2 actually when I was considering for a transplant. So between Dr. Pekiner and Dr. Ferreira. And the only reason I chose Dr. Ferreira because Dr. Pekiner really wanted to use some beard that I don't have. Well, very little of it. And even during my first transplant, and I'm personally not a big fan of BHT just right away in the first transplant, so that's why I didn't choose him. But yeah, he's great. Have you heard of a diamond hair clinic? No, I have not. And actually, hold on. I feel like someone on the forum, I think on Facebook group recently was saying that he's considering to going there. Maybe it's even you, I don't know. But yeah, I have not heard this name, and it's very likely it's just some other Turkish hair mill, to be honest. They're all having such stupid names. Dr. Kore Erdogan in Istanbul, my answer is no. I am not a fan of... I mean, look, if he would do everything, 100% of the work, I'm sure he's an amazing doctor. He knows what he's doing, how the hair transplant has to be done. Yes. But as far as I'm aware, he's not doing surgeries or not very involved as much. I don't think he can do all the surgery from A to Z. And his business is mostly about techs doing, you know, surgery. So this is a big red flag to me. I would never go to a clinic that is doing multiple surgeries, because the more people is involved, the less chances of success, because the more everyone is, you know, people are people, they're doing mistakes, which is normal, but the more people involved, the more mistakes gonna be done. It's just the quality drops in this kind of cases. So this business is focused solely to make money, not to bring the best results. So it's basically, in my opinion, it's just he's trying to find a balance between giving really good results and making money. Maybe he found, maybe it works for him. I don't know. I would never go to this kind of place. That's it. That's my opinion. He does only one a day at Diamond. Huh. Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it, chat. Let's see. Diamond Hair Transplant Clinic. Let's have a look together. As always, nothing personal. This is just my opinion. But... oh, wrong. This one? Okay. I don't care what's about you. I want to see results. Okay, you see, I knew it's gonna be Turkey. Typical name. Hair transplant Turkey. Where are the results? Article. Patients considering red flags. Success. I want results. I've heard this name somewhere. I don't remember what exactly I've heard about it, but I've heard this name. Oh my gosh, their website is so bad. I need results. I should be able to go on the website and straight away be able to navigate. Why do I need to read all of this text? How to choose, how to do. Really bad website. Why choose a diamond? Okay, so in-depth experience, maybe here? No. Oh, so everything is in one line. Okay, so never mind. Their websites back to 2000 says early 2000s. Okay, out of the bat, a good thing he's using magnification, some light. That's a good sign. Results. Okay, I can see it's a Turkish hairline, and I can see, yeah, not just the design, but it's kind of sticking out. Even with this low quality, you can kind of tell it's a thicker graft. Okay, let's see. Of course, some people have thick hair naturally, but you know, there is ways to make it. And so what? That's it? No pictures? Is that the only picture they have? No. Diamond hair transplant. Look, I'm really trying to give a benefit of a doubt. Let's go on Instagram. Any results? Okay. A good thing, a plus, it looks like that they're not, well, it doesn't look like at least they're implanting in rows, which is a straightaway big telltale sign it's a piece of crap. Okay, Sapphire FE, obviously. Some more marketing. This stupid Sapphire. Anyways, I'm not a big fan that they're raised so much. So there's a lot of skin out of the grafts. In my opinion, these grafts should have been implanted a little bit deeper, because this can create some cobblestoning after that. Once it's gonna... I'm not saying it will happen here, but if the incisions were not made deep enough under the skin and the grafts were not implanted deep enough, once everything heals, instead of the skin being flat, it can become like bumpy essentially. So that's, yeah, that's not a good sign. A bit generic. I mean, look, it's not rose. I'll give them that. It looks like they have slightly denser here and not as dense here, which is fine. You don't need as much density here, but that looks like it's not gonna be enough. Look how big gaps are. It's way too big of a gaps here. Yeah, unless there's thick hair, not natural, which doesn't look like. And the hairline, look at it. Look at the design. It's just very predictable, very unnatural, like zigzags. Yeah, I mean, look, for each their own. It's not gonna be a perfect hair transplant, but I'm sure, yeah, for their price, maybe. I don't know. No, look, this is... So, if it's the same person doing the hair transplant, why he's made the hairline here like in one line? And if, what is this breaking up? Like, this is such a bad job here. And actually here, you can see in rows, in transplanted. And then in this video we just saw there was a very different hairline. So, who is doing the work? Exactly. Look, this is so bad. This is like one straight line. Imagine everything gonna grow, and I can guarantee there's gonna be some thick triple grafts in the hairline. No, it's not. It's not gonna be great. No, man, they're sticking out way too much. No. Nah. Sorry. It's a no from me, dog. Yeah, it gets worse and worse. Literally, yeah. Man, look. And how long I researched them? It took me, what, 2 minutes? I can straight away spot. So basically, when you're doing your research, you need to know exactly what to look for, you know, in a good hair transplant. So I've done plenty of videos on my channel, so just go and check it out. But yeah, you have to carefully analyze each transplant, not just look up final result from far away that look like myself. Look, I have plenty of hair. Oh yeah, perfect. But if you look closer, there might be some shit. Well, in my case, it's not shit, and it doesn't want to focus, but anyways, got the point. Nothing wrong with having 6,000 grafts in one surgery. It's like, look again at Dr. Zarev. This guy, I have no idea how, but with the implanter pens, he's just fucking going nuts, going there like 8,000-9,000 grafts in 2-day surgery. No idea how he's doing it. You only get results through WhatsApp. Well, that tells you everything you want to know about them. Or anyone else. Thoughts on PRP? Dr. Ferro offering it at 300 euros, debating whether to have it during my procedure. Thanks. Well, okay, I'll give you some perspective. So I had a third hair transplant. I didn't pay for it. So Dr. Ferreira took charge of everything when it comes to hair transplant. Obviously, we discussed what I want, my opinion, what I think, you know, can be done. But you know, but he didn't do for me PRP. He didn't offer for me, even though he can do it. What can I say? He doesn't probably believe, or he's not convinced yet that it works. And I already mentioned in the very beginning of this live stream that I'm personally not a big fan of PRP. It can work. It can work really well. For some people, it works extremely well. But it can be massive hit or miss. And again, I mentioned many reasons why I'm not a big fan. So I didn't have it. He didn't offer it to me. Even though if in my opinion, if he would believe, 100% believe PRP must be done for every transplant, I feel like he would do it for me as well. Yes, Bruno Ferrer. So, you know, it's up to you. You can get and pay for it and extra and maybe gonna do anything. I would personally wouldn't, because he's been doing transplants for so long without using PRP and everything is fine. Everything grows just fine. So, I don't know. Why bother? I don't even understand why he introduced this. So, maybe just to have an option, because maybe some people are very persistent and they really want it. Or maybe some people, for example, around his area, they've been doing PRP already with someone else, like in some in some other city that is further, for example. And now that he's doing it, maybe they just will start coming to him and get it done. You know, it makes sense. There is a time and place for PRP, but it's not a necessity. You absolutely do not need PRP to make your transplant great. So that's my take on it. There was a lot of questions and I'm sure I missed some of them and I do apologize. I'm trying my best to keep up. So just I'm gonna stay online for probably another maybe 10-15 minutes. So just keep going, keep the questions coming and I'll try to see them and reply to them. Dr. Cinik in Turkey, who do most of the football players what do you think? Well, I mean, I don't even need to go and check on Dr. Cinik. Like, he's been very well known in the industry for a lot of years already. It's probably one of the bigger, shall I call him hair mills? Yeah, hair mills. The biggest hair mills out there. And just for transparency, when I say hair mill, what do I mean by that? In my definition, in my opinion, what a hair mill is a place, a clinic that is doing multiple surgeries a day. It doesn't mean they're doing bad surgeries, doesn't mean they're doing good surgeries. It means they're doing a lot of them, like 5, 10, 20 surgeries a day, each day. So basically, a mill. They just keep going and going and going and going. And again, that being said, when it comes to results, I've seen plenty of results online that are not just bad. Sometimes they can overharvest the donor, sometimes their hairlines are extremely unnatural, but I also seen very good, surprisingly, results from them. But they're so far in between each other that it's absolutely not worth, in my opinion, going there, just because you have very low chance of success. And again, it's very simple. If you go on their website or their Instagram or whatever, and you're gonna look at their results, most of them you're gonna find, you can kind of see that it's a transplant right away from the pictures without even close-up. From pictures like this, just because the hairline is straight or some weird shape that is very unnatural. The implanting in rows, the hairs are growing straight, growing up. It doesn't grow like flat like this. The implanting doubles, triple squats in the hairline. It's, you know. And again, don't take results that you see online from their Instagram as a fact. They're gonna be posting only the best results. They might have some 1 or 2 teams that are very good. They know what they're doing. And if you get them, you're gonna be lucky. Good for you. But they also have plenty of other teams who are not as great, because there is so many results that are not as great coming from them. There you go. So basically, it's just it's the same like any other clinic. All the clinics who are doing a lot of transplants per day, 5, 10, 20 transplants a day, gonna have very different results across the board. So if you're gonna go there, doesn't mean the other guy who's gonna go there gonna receive the same result like you, whether it's good or bad. It can be both ways. So to me, it's like a Russian roulette. Would you like to bet that you're gonna get a good result? You can do it. Maybe you will. Who knows? But you have one donor. Once the donor has been taken, game over. You cannot regrow it back. So are you willing to gamble? Maybe you are. Maybe you are. So, you know, it's up to each individual. Lots of people going there. Not everyone cares how natural it is. As long as they have hair, they're happy with it. What do I know? Yeah, that's a little bit of a rant. What are your thoughts on getting temple peaks done? Feels like it's very difficult to get it look natural, but can look awesome. Absolutely, the temple peaks, very, very difficult to make it look natural. Just because of the angle, the type of hair, it has to be super fine hair. Even me, Dr. Ferrer really tried to pick up all around very finer single grafts, and even in some cases, I can see which hair was transplanted and which hair wasn't, because some of them look thicker. So, you know, it's not an easy place to do, but again, good doctors, they normally know how to make it work. And you don't have to get it done always. If you're Norwood 5, as long as you recreate the hairline that's slightly higher, maybe you don't really need to do the temple peaks, but maybe you can do it on the second round and stuff like that. So, you know, it's important part to structure your face, but also, yeah, it's very difficult. So, you know, again, just look at the results whenever looking at a doctor, you know, you can do your job, your transplant. Do you have a thinning at all in the lateral hump area? Well, kind of. So I'm Norwood 5. I have the potential to go into Norwood 6. So between Norwood 5 and Norwood 6, that area, yes, there is a little bit of thinning, and that's holding with finasteride and oral minoxidil. And it's been holding really well. The thinning is very minimal. But there is some. If you look under the microscope, you're gonna see some of the hairs that are miniaturizing. So therefore, it identifies that this area can, miniaturize further. But yeah, nothing substantial. Let me just go back to the chat. So, just a reminder, guys, I'm gonna be here a couple more minutes to drop your questions, because I see just the same people keep asking, and obviously I'm happy to help as much as I can. So, look, this live stream is literally just to answer your Q&A. So, when I was in research mode, nobody was doing such things. I'm taking it back. The only place who were doing the live stream and answering questions was the Bold Truth with Spencer Cobra and Joe Tillman, but they were not really fancy answering chat. They were just, if you're gonna call, they're gonna answer. If no, tough shit. And even right now, who else is doing things like that? So I'm trying my best to give some of my time and answer as much as I can to all of you guys. I know it's very important, and because when I was researching, I couldn't find this kind of information myself. So take advantage. Take advantage of it, and just get those questions rolling. Sorry if it has been already asked. I just wonder how much your doctor currently charges per graft. I'm not sure. I think it's €4 per graft. Something like that, or €3.5 per graft. Something along those lines. I'm not entirely sure, but just, email them and I'm sure they can reply to you with how much they're charging. Okay, Crownzak, another question. Who would you choose for Norwood 3 hairline restoration and overall for the surgeon approach? Mill, Mittal, Ferreira, Feriduni, Pinto. Come on, look at me. Do you really... If you would not put Dr. Ferreira in there, that would be a fair question. But there is, what can I say? I would obviously go to Dr. Ferreira because I've been there already. I know what he's doing, what he can do, and already have a great result. So that's the only answer I can give you right now. But if you wouldn't put Dr. Ferreira in there, tough choice. Pinto is amazing. I really like Pinto's work. Very, very close to Ferreira. Obviously slightly different, vision. But yeah, amazing doctor. Mittal, great. Look, I don't know. I don't know. Tough choice. I definitely wouldn't go to Feriduni, even though, as I mentioned earlier, his top of the line doctor is just, I personally would I don't know. I don't. There is little things. The way he's reconstructed the hairline to me is a little too. How to say? I would like my doctor to be a little bit more aggressive. It makes sense. He's too conservative, in my opinion. But again, amazing doctor. Loads of like thousands of amazing results. So yeah. Just see something. So who else is there? Metal, Pinto. Mate, I don't know. Seriously, it's a tough one. You have to choose it for yourself. Because you have to look at the fine, small details. Like, look, if you're gonna go with any of them, you're gonna get great results regardless. So the question is how the results gonna look. Whether you personally gonna like it or not. So, you know. They call me Trinity. We appreciate your line. Disconnected. What in the world? And we are connected back. This is very annoying. Thank you, man. Really appreciate your channel. Your day 1 to 10 after transplant helped me a ton. Yeah, actually, that was the reason. So after my second transplant, for those of you who doesn't know, I've done one video a day, every day for the first 2 weeks. So I documented everything, what I've done, what I went through for the first 2 weeks after my transplant. So you can literally look at each video, and you can actually, after your transplant, you can watch these videos, you know, and be essentially together with me on this journey, and you can compare what's happening and what I was doing. It's a very kind of great playlist for those of you who just had a transplant. And funny enough, after my third transplant, I was rewatching my own videos after my second one, and just, you know, it's one of those things. It's just relatable. You want to see what others are doing, and it's just, you know, it's great. If getting a lower hairline should be age of the patient matter on how low the hairline should be placed. 100%. So if you are a 50-year-old, it doesn't make sense to make hairline. But also if you're 25, it doesn't make sense to. So it really depends on how your hairline looked before and how you could potentially gonna look in the future, and obviously what their donor allows it or not. So it has to be age appropriate, meaning that because the hairline is going to be implanted, it will stay with you for the rest of their life. So you don't do something stupid, implant on your, you know, on here, and then when you're talking, it's just your hairline going to be moving around. You're going to look stupid for the rest of your life. Don't do this. Second that, thanks Rolandas, you're unique, okay. Perfect Pereira. So yeah, Thanks guys for nice words. Like I said, I'm trying my best. And I think I'll have to wrap up this live stream. Let me just go quickly to a couple more questions. Should I use derma roller? Should I use derma roller and minoxidil for the crown instead of second surgery? I think you should. I think you should try at least. Don't rush into the surgery, because even if you're going to a good doctor, there's always going to be chance of some complications, for whatever reason, you know. You don't want that. If there is a decent amount of hair, you might as well try and save it as much as you can. You know, that just goes without saying. And so try it for a year and see how it is. If after a year you're not happy, you think to yourself, look, I can absolutely not live like that my rest of the life like this, then you can start planning second surgery for a crown. But you should definitely try it. Andre, hey bro, hope you're well. I just wanted to ask, I have been taking finasteride for 9 months. I'm not sure if I got results. What, in your opinion, is the most common time to see results in? Well, 9 months, you should be able already to see something. But that being said, when we're talking about finasteride results, we don't necessarily mean a lot of regrowth. Finasteride result can be also when you don't experience any further hair loss. So if your shedding stopped, and you stay at the same weight you currently are, that's it. That's already a finasteride result. It means finasteride works. Finasteride not gonna regrow for everyone. It's actually well, not very unlikely, but it's not very common to regrow a lot of hair on finasteride. So as long as it stops your further hair loss, that must be looked as a win already, because that's the whole point. You stop your hair loss. If it regrows anything, great. If no, there is options, other options, like obviously there is minoxidil, PRP, microneedling. There's other treatments now that pyrolutamide and stuff like that have coming up. But you can always have a transplant after that, as long as the hair loss stopped kind of progressing any further. So that's, in my opinion, that's the most important thing. But generally speaking, have a look at, there is a study. Let me pull it up just for you. 10-year study. There's been done study for 10 years in Japanese men, where basically they looked at patients over 10 years, and they found out how well it works, essentially, so over the long term. And in a nutshell, okay, there you go. Let me just I've just found some random website, but essentially that's this study. Long-term 10-year efficacy of finasteride in 523 Japanese men with allergenic alopecia. You can read this through. There are some pictures, but this is the most important part, essentially, here. Just do it. Never mind. Yeah, so essentially what you want to look at from this, take away from this, is the lower your Norwood level is, the better response you're gonna have from finasteride long term. For example, Norwood 1, if you start here, finasteride, you're gonna have some improvement, and the improvements keep getting better with each year. Up to year 9, you're continuously getting more improvement over the baseline. And the same goes to Norwood 3, Norwood 2, 3, 4 as well. It kind of plateaus at around year 4, 5, even 7, you can argue. But when it comes to, there you go, Norwood 5, that's when it kind of dramatically changes. So the first 2 years, you see some improvement, and then it kind of stays the same on the next 10 years, meaning it doesn't change. But if you Norwood 6 or 7, that's when you have some efficacy from finasteride, but then it's slowly digressing, essentially, slowly getting worse over the years. Again, it's not a big study, it's only 500 men, but to me it's very important to see for the perspective, basically, what I'm trying to say. The earlier you're gonna start finasteride, the better. So do not wait, do not be like me, doing stupid mistake, waiting from when I was Norwood 3 to Norwood 5. All of these years I knew about finasteride, but I was too scared to take it, like a lot of people. And yeah, just not taking it. Just the earlier you start, the better. And since you're on month 9, if you're below Norwood 5, there is very high likelihood you can still see some more improvements, over the coming years. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Can I share the results for opinions anywhere? Depends, Shuvite. Okay, so you can send me your pictures on my email address, where you can find on about page of my channel. It's mr.rolandas.ht@gmail.com. And I may or may not, unfortunately I cannot promise you, but I may or may not do either video analysis to it or react to it during the live stream, like I did, today, some of the things and stuff like that. I do not, however, respond to like 99% of the emails, just because I don't have time. I cannot reply to all the messages, to all the emails, and a lot of people privately messaging to me, and I'm, apologies for this, but I'm doing my best, but I also have life, so cannot really spend all my free time doing this. So yeah, feel free to send it over. And I think that's about it for this live stream. I see we have 48 currently viewers. It's quite a lot. Very glad you guys joining, and hopefully you found something useful from this. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel, you're gonna be quite surprised the type of content you're gonna find there. It's like a guy, gold mine essentially. Some of the content you're not going to be find anywhere else. I've went through everything when it comes to hair transplants, hair loss, my personal experience. I've shared, like, I've analyzed everything what you can only think of. So yeah, if you're currently looking at hair loss, hair transplants, trust me, you cannot find a better place. So yeah, make sure to drop a like under this live stream. I'm sure it's gonna help to push through the YouTube algorithm, because as you know, the YouTube algorithm is such a it's very difficult to reach some wider audience, and very easy, very simple. It's so many people going to transplants, like thousands and thousands and thousands of people going to get transplants, and they get absolutely destroyed by bad clinics. So my goal is to reach as many people as I possibly can with as little time of personal time I have that I have. So if we like it, we can potentially reach more people, help more people, and hopefully it's gonna work. But other than that, if you got any other questions, drop them in the comments down below after this live stream. I will try my best to reply as always. Subscribe if you haven't already, like the video, all of that good stuff, and stay tuned for the other videos. And for now, I will see you in the next one. Peace out.